What what was Gerald like to know him like on an intimate level?
Uh, Gerald, man, was really cool, man. He was like a brother, teacher, because he had a lot of wisdom, being around his dad for all those years, being around all those great artists and different stuff like that. And I came from the same thing, being around my dad and radio and being around all that knowledge and different stuff. So I think sometimes, people, when you have that much power come to the room, sometimes it clashes, but that respect is incredible because you know that this person can stand on his own. He's not one of those dudes that's going to be there. I didn't. You're right, I didn't. Um, uh, that's not going to be there with his hand out all the time, but it's going to be somebody on the team that's going to work with you instead of let you work for him. He was like, he was honestly like the coolest dude on the planet. Him and Mark and Sean. I remember one of our first shows was probably in Cincinnati, and we were always going places with Sean Levert. Sean Levert, it was his job to, because he was on the Use Me single, and it was his job to go out and teach us how to be stars. So it was dope. Matter of fact, Al the Barber's on here. He was Gerald Levert's personal barber. He just checked in. Gerald was and I'm looking at just the videos and stuff. I see they keep popping up of him on the TV shows, and man, he was a teacher. Man, he was
He was
man,
a monster.
man. It's a shame, man. It's just unfortunate that that he's not here now. I think about that, and I just think, we had our ups and downs, and we had a chance to really polish it up before he left. And I remember when we had a show opening up for him in Birmingham, Alabama, when Dwight Howard was a rookie, and they had this show at the Birmingham Junior College, and we opened up for him. And I remember Big Joe clearing out the room so me and him could talk, and we just talk, and I said, man, I just, I don't know why cats keep coming to you trying to separate us, because that was really the biggest thing. Cats was always trying to come in. It was always somebody trying to come between me and him with bullshit. And I was like, man, I don't know why cats keep doing this, because I ain't never told nobody nothing. But I love you and I miss you, and I want us to start working together again. And like some of the last words he said to me was, man, I'm tired. I'm tired of all this shit. That was like really, and then the only other thing he said to me was, man, he was like, man, why y'all ain't sing this or sing that? I think the money for us was funny. I think the money was funny for everybody that night. And he was like, why y'all ain't sing da 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 da? Because they were screaming for y'all to sing it. I was like, man, them niggas that had a bread, so we ain't really go that hard. He was like, yeah. He's like, fuck this shit. That's what he said. Because I think his money was messed up that night too. And that was the last thing he said to me. I think after that, he went to Africa. And then when he came back, yeah, I know, man. But it just messed me up, Al, because this shit could have been so much bigger, but everybody kept trying to come in between it all the time. And if he knew out of anybody who was the realest dude in the joint, because it was me. So, yeah, Al just reassured me that he knew that. That's my dude. If anybody knew what time it was Al. That was his personal, you know what I mean? So,
So
yeah,
you think
man.
he was tired of the whole game?
Yeah, man, I think he was tired of everything. I mean, of having to support so many people, and you know, when you know how we complain about our teenagers, about them being this and being that. It was like you create the culture. It's like you can't be mad at your kids if it's something that you created. Like I complain about my kids all the time. I love them to death, but hell, I grew up in the shoebox. My kids were born into a 5,000 square foot home. I'm saying, well, how can you know what I'm saying? What do you do? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Especially my daughter. My son had a taste of it, but I'm saying when he really was open and recognized to see it, he was in this big ass house. You know what I'm saying? Thank the Lord for the opportunities and the blessings. But we had to scratch and survive to get the things we want to date. And but that's what we want for them. But in the process, when they forget, even though we lay down the path of what's the word, of respect, of of appreciation and to be thankful and grateful for things, I think they still kind of lose it, and then they still won't see it until they see it. Like everybody at the camp
You don't
didn't see it.
appreciate anything you don't pay for. You don't
Right,
appreciate anything you don't pay for, whether
right.
with your time or your money.
And I think everybody took G for granted until it had to happen. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, they just knew that he was going to take care of it, and he felt the pressure to always take care of it. Because every time I saw him, it was like, man, you know, I'm trying to figure out what we going to do. And I was like, dude, I don't really care about that, man. I just want to hang out and be back here backstage with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, of course I want to work and do stuff with you, but it's like you don't always have to tell me that. But he was always, I think he was just always worried about taking care of everybody else. And that's the type of dude he was, man. And I'll never forget that. I just, you know, he was always, he did have too much on him. He was just always concerned about everybody else, and everybody else expected him to carry that. And so he took it and he carried it. Yep.